the Dakota Access Pipeline, which currently carries 500,000 barrels of oil a day through North Dakota, through South Dakota, through North Dakota, South Dakota, and into Illinois. It carries 500,000 barrels a day. The oil company, Energy Transfer Partners, greedy mofos, they want to move it to 1.1 million barrels of oil per day. This was announced a few months ago, but there's a development. Just to remind you, if you didn't know, obviously the Standing Rock Sioux tribe is against this because expanding it from 500,000 barrels of oil a day to over 1 million barrels, I mean, if you have a spill, which at this point, reported, there's been 5 spills, but like we always say, it could be more spills that they haven't reported because North Dakota and Texas basically have ridiculous laws on actually mandating that oil companies report spills. So for all we know, there has been more spills that have not been reported, including into the Missouri River, which serves 20 million people downstream their drinking water. So Standing Rock Sioux Chairman Mike Faith said in a statement, this was a couple months ago, that, quote, the proposed pipeline expansion magnifies the potential disaster in the event of an oil spill. The Standing Rock Sioux tribe looks forward to expressing its concerns during the upcoming PSC hearing. The $3.8 billion pipeline is less than a half mile from the Standing Rock Sioux tribe, beneath a Missouri River reservoir that is the tribe's water source. The company says the expansion would help meet the growing demand for oil from North Dakota, the nation's second biggest oil producer behind Texas. Of course, that's a load of bullshit. Most of the oil from these pipelines is not going to North Dakota. It's not going to South Dakota. It's going to export terminals in the Gulf to then go to other countries, aka energy independence, as they call it, energy independence. So, the update in this story, yesterday, commissioners in South Dakota, in a South Dakota county, approved a conditional use permit for a pumping station needed for an expansion of the Dakota Access Pipeline. The Lincoln County Board, of course, shockingly, South Dakota politicians, voted 4-1 in favor of the proposal. The station, expected to cost between $30 million and $40 million, would be built near Harrisburg in southeastern South Dakota. Texas-based Energy Transfer announced in June its plans to expand the pipeline's capacity, which I just read to you. The Lincoln County Planning Commission approved the project last month, but the members of the Dakota Rural Action, a South Dakota environmental group, appealed the decision to the county board. Opponents warned of possible pollution. Senior organizer Rebecca Turk of Dakota Rural Action told commissioners that the pumping station would increase risks of the pipeline developing leaks or a catastrophic blowout. She said that in turn would harm water supplies and farmland. Quote, it's not just about the pipe as a whole, it's about those imperfections that exist throughout the pipeline. Supporters testified in favor of the project, including union representatives, blah, 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 blah. The site includes a 13,000-gallon tank to provide surge relief, automatic sensors that shut the facility down in case of fire, and sensors that monitor for leaks. Commissioner David Gillespie cast a lone no vote. Gillespie questioned whether there would be enough security at the building to prevent someone from damaging it. Last month, an administrative law allowed the Standing Rock Sioux tribe to intervene on plans to expand the Dakota Access Pipeline. North Dakota regulators have set a November 13th public hearing in Linton, near where the pump station would go, on the proposed expansion. The tribe led original opposition to the crude oil pipeline. The $3.8 billion pipeline is less than a half mile from the Standing Rock Sioux reservation beneath the Missouri reservoir. So, why I'm bringing this up is it's already a danger that the Dakota Access Pipeline even exists in the first place. But now, when you're talking about expanding a pipeline like this from 500 million barrels a day to over 1 million barrels a day, the pipeline was not built for that level of capacity. You would have to expand the diameter of the pipeline to safely do that. You can't retroactively expand the diameter of a pipeline. So what they're basically doing is stuffing more oil in a pipeline that isn't equipped to hold that much, because they don't give a damn if it explodes. They don't give a damn if it leaks. They don't care if it leaks into water supplies. They don't care if it kills animals. They don't care if it destroys sacred burial lands like it did in Standing Rock and other places. They don't care. They're insured in case of explosion and this and that. So are their investors. You are not, if you live in the path of this pipeline. Not to mention, separate pipeline, but Keystone XL pipeline is going to begin construction probably by the end of this year, which Status Quo has been trying to work on going there. So I will have news on that end. I'm waiting to hear back from certain tribe members. We know that South Dakota, North Dakota politicians, they're all bought off by the oil companies. We know that Energy Transfer Partners itself literally paid off the police in North Dakota. Literally, the police were reimbursed by Energy Transfer Partners in North Dakota for their law enforcement at Standing Rock, i.e. beating the living shit out of Native Americans and environmental activists. But this stuff happening on the ground now, the rubber stamping of expanding this pipeline, remember this report. Remember these stories when that pipeline explodes. It's not if, it's when. And when they pretend that, oh, we didn't know it would happen, and oh, we had safeguards in place, remember, the tribes were screaming about it. Remember the few journalists who tried to raise awareness about this. Remember the environmental activists who were fighting out against this. And it might not be, the path of the Dakota Access Pipeline might not be coming through your neck of the woods, but I promise you, if you do enough homework, there's pipelines like it all over where you live. Trump has opened, if Obama expanded fracking and these natural gas and crude oil pipelines, Trump has doubled down. Because they're all a bunch of mother frackers, as far as I'm concerned. Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statusquo.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statusquo.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.